Okay, hopefully I'm live now. I'm going to check the audio here, see whether I can hear myself or not. So give me a second here. Someday I'm going to start a stream on time. Ah, good. Thanks, Garth. So, I really hate the fact that these things are delayed so much. Anyway, so I opened this iMac up a little while ago, and excuse me, I got to do something. Okay, I'm back. So I opened this thing up. I got this a couple of weeks ago. Opened it up. Everything seemed to be fine with the caps, but I noticed when I was trying to play Warcraft, Tides of Darkness. Yeah, I've got some old games. And you could really hear the fans when that was running. So I thought maybe I'd take a look and see. Now, I've never torn into one of these before, other than, I just opened it up and took a look. So, and I don't have the service manual in front of me. I probably should have done that. But let's see how ham-fisted I can be. So there's 3 screws on the bottom to open it up. I've already broken the tabs on the top. So my last video showed how not to open the back. So you lift it up a little bit, and then you gotta shimmy it towards you, I think, to make sure it doesn't catch. Yeah, I'm still having problems with it. Ah, there we go. Okay. So you can see, maybe you can't see. Yeah, I managed to break off the tabs last time. I saved the plastic, but it's such a thin layer, I don't think I'm going to be able to fix it. It's probably not really necessary. So anyway, it's generally pretty clean in here, but I'm going to get that up. The fans are a little dirty. So I thought, maybe I need to blow them out or something. Gosh, do I even have any air? I don't think I do. Yeah, it's going to be kind of hard to blow them out. Anyway, I'm going to take this off. And just kind of look at them. What thermal paste you use? I haven't used any thermal paste in 20 years. In fact, my daughter was looking for some thermal paste for something she was doing, and she found a tube that I had from 1997. Needless to say, it wasn't in very good shape, but it started to separate. So I haven't had a reason to use thermal paste. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, is that, maybe I'm going to have to eventually take the processor off this thing and redo the paste on it. So anyway, I got this cover off. There's a little bit of dust on it. And how do you come out? Sorry, I got to put my glasses on. Can't see a thing this close without them. And I need a little bit of light. So it looks like we've got, there's a screw there holding it down and one there. And there is a cable that's running right over the top of a screw. That's convenient. So, and of course, it's a Torx. Let me see if I can find the right one. Otherwise, I have to go borrow my daughter's kit. She's the one that's got the iFixit. Whereas I just have an assembly of, or assemblage of junk parts that I picked up, tools, which may or may not be the right size. Okay, that's Phillips. That's definitely not going to work. So I do this to myself every time. I plan on doing a stream, and I throw it together in half an hour, and I'm not really prepared to do the work. I know, I really like this G5. I've got 9.2 running on it so that I can do HyperCard, which is kind of nice. I mean, I still like my 68K Mac, but it's kind of nice to have a modern one to run things on. That is not quite the right size. Let me read the chat here. You want your money back. Okay, you can have the $0 that you spent for the stream. They're notorious for the logic board and caps to be badly leaked. Yeah, I was really surprised when I opened this thing up that the caps look really nice. I don't see any kind of expansion on it. The board's clean. So I think I got lucky. You know, I said something to Mac84 about, yeah, I figured I was going to have to buy a recap kit. And he says, well, you know, the one that he got didn't need a recap. So sometimes you get lucky. You have plenty of G5s. I have 0. CTG 8M Mac Store is a very good one for a 6. Sounds like it needs it. The cover over the processor heatsink tend to collect a lot of dust, and you really need to pull that off and clean fully. Those G5 iMacs just run hot anyway, really. Yeah, I noticed the exhaust on it's actually pretty warm. Yeah, and people doubt my paste. I found it made in 2012. Yeah. I think, you know, that stuff seems to separate after a long time. Mackie is following you on Twitter. That's awesome. Yeah, I finally, I watched some of Ron's stream and saw the 3D Mackie. I think that's so cool. Really difficult to recap. Yeah, I was afraid I was going to have to, you know, a cheap kit you can get for, you know, $12, but I wouldn't buy a cheap kit. Looked like most of them are around $30, which, you know, that's not too bad. I got this for $20, so I can't complain. It didn't have the keyboard and mouse, but oh well. Okay, that seems to have loosened it up. I have no idea if taking these out and blowing them out or anything is actually going to do any good. You know, if the bearing's going on it, it's just going and needs to be replaced. Okay. Well, it looks like that shell comes apart. Should I avoid taking this out or taking this apart? Yeah, Mackie is cute. Yeah, I really like what Kate's done there. So that's a really good thing for her series or her channel to have Mackie, to have a mascot like that is really cool. So, you know, and it's, I don't know if you guys remember, there was a TV show, gosh, I can't remember the actor's name. He's from Michigan too. That was, I don't know, 20 years ago that had, it looked like Einstein. Maybe it was supposed to be a representation of Einstein on a Mac Classic, and it was animated, and he talked, and it was like an artificial intelligence thing. Am I thinking of Jeff Bridges? Anyway, and it was like some kids show, Saturday evening movie kind of thing. And I thought, that's really cool. I wouldn't mind making one of those someday and have an animated professor or something like that. But, Kate's already doing Mackies, so I really can't do that kind of thing. If it were me, I would take the unit outside and blow it out with my air compressor. Yeah, unfortunately I don't have an air compressor. Remove the cover off the CPU, though it could get to the heat. Okay. If I remove the cover off, it's not going to pull off the CPU because I don't have the thermal paste to fix it. The paste I told you about is equivalent to thermal grizzly cryonaut. Okay, whatever that is. My experience is pretty old, actually. Sodium's a retro house. Should be scared then. It's a better conductor of heat over MX4 and Arctic 5. Gosh, what was the stuff that I had? It was pretty good compound at the time, but it was, like I said, it was like 25 years ago now. So who knows what it was. And I picked it up at a local shop. I don't even think that local shop exists anymore. So these really aren't that dirty. They seem to spin free. So I'm wondering if it's just normal fan noise I was hearing. After I put it back together, I'll start it up and you guys can hear it. No, the cover is separate, although do look at it, iFixit Guide or Service Manual to be sure you know how to. Yeah, I'm kind of bad about that, not looking things up and just diving in and pulling stuff apart. Probably not a good trait. No crunchy fans. Yeah, they don't sound too bad. They just sound a little like like the bearing might be starting to get sloppy or something. So, okay, don't lose the screw. Kind of a neat design for these. I mean, the screws have little rubber bumpers on them to, I suppose, to reduce noise. Best you can do is fully blow out, clean, and repaste and replace HD with some solid state. Yeah, I was thinking about doing the solid state thing, but the drive seems to work. So I thought I'd just leave things the way they are. Oh, less heat. Yeah, that's a good point. The drives probably contribute quite a bit. And an SSD would be faster. I heard somewhere that the SSDs are a little picky for these. You can't just drop any old SSD in. Isn't there a thermal sensor for the hard drive? Yes, I believe there is. Hey, I did it without breaking it. That's amazing. Okay. Well, let me see if my daughter has some canned air. Better than nothing. I'll be right back. Lydia, got any canned air left? You're out. I'm gonna have to steal Mom's. I'm live streaming right now and I don't have it.
No, the one I used was dead when I used it.
All right, no canned air. Okay, let's catch up on the chat. SATA 2 or SATA 1 drives then. Yeah. Yeah, I'll have to look into it to see what I actually need. I saw there is a video somebody else put together where they replaced it, but um, I've also been trying to talk to Mike from Mike's Mac Shack. He's got 8 sticks of RAM that'll work in this thing, and for some reason, emails to his email server keep bouncing back, so I haven't been able to talk to him. I finally rewatched the video where he told what number to call or to iMessage, so I did that. But hopefully I can, it's only got the um, the stock memory in it, and I want to put 2 gig in here, so it's got what, 512. Um, so I don't have any air. I really don't like the idea of using a vacuum cleaner on these unless I completely unplug this component because of the static you can build up with that kind of thing. So, does anyone have suggestions other than canned air? Should I use a vacuum cleaner on it? Yeah, 2 gigabytes. Yeah, I figure that's going to help quite a bit with it. It's got 2 gig instead of 512. Because max it can take is 1 gigabyte. I think it's DDR 430 3200. Thank you. Someone gets it. It bugs me when people do that. Yeah, the vacuum cleaner thing, does, especially if you're using the bristles in the vacuum cleaner, it's got to create static electricity. Yeah, an air compressor. Yeah, I really should get an air compressor. I mean, it would be handy anyway, just to make sure I could, inflate tires, that kind of thing. I've used a vacuum on things, no issue. Yeah. Well, do I want to mess with pulling these off? And I don't really think they're all that dirty, honestly. It's not like there's cat fur all over it. Like somebody's thing. I don't have any pets. I'm allergic. So I'm just going to put it back together and put it back in. Ah, come on. If I can keep from breaking the tabs. Maybe I should put my glasses back on. Yeah, the 68K stuff with all the CMOS chips and stuff in it, I don't see a lot of people grounding themselves and using an anesthetic strap when they do that. And I often wonder if maybe I should be using a strap every time I open up, like a power book or something. I think it's really you just kind of taking your chances. Yeah. So let's get this back in here. Yeah, great place to put a cable. And I've got it could be worse. It could be a new machine. And I dropped the screw. Where did I drop the screw? Right there. Oh, man. I probably shouldn't have done this today. I'm not really feeling all that hot. Yeah, I touch metal. I make sure that I'm not carrying a static charge, but I still wonder if I'm not playing Russian roulette when I'm messing around with these things. Anybody know what the torque ratings are for these? Yeah, I was putting Eric Helgeson helped me out with my blue scuzzies because I was having a hard time getting them updated. I bought two ST Link devices in a row, and both of them had unsoldered pins, and when I tried to solder one to see if it would work, it didn't work. So I ended up giving up on that. But anyway, so Eric, I shipped my blue scuzzies to Eric, and he took care of updating, flashing them. So I had the USB version, and then while he was doing that, the USB shield on one of them came off. So he had to unsolder that and then fix it, which was great. He went ahead and did that. I got them back recently, and I was putting one of them in, and just before I touched the blue scuzzy, because it was hanging out the back of my Performa 550, I touched the metal shielding that was around the where you open it up, and it shocked, and I'm like, oh, I'm glad I touched that and grounded there instead of touching the blue scuzzy and frying something. So I'm always surprised when that happens. I suppose I shouldn't be. Yeah, see, this stuff, the dust that's in here is actually slightly oily, so you can't even blow it out. It's actually a little greasy. Yeah. I suppose you could bathe them in IPA or something like that. I don't know if that messes with the bearings, though, on these. But, okay. So, I wasn't paying attention. It goes this way. Now, did that cable go underneath? Great. I wasn't paying attention. Or did it? Yeah, it didn't go across the top. It must have gone underneath. I guess we'll find out. I think it does. Yeah, that's what I worry about. I haven't killed anything yet, but it's only a matter of time, I think, before I shock something into oblivion. Oh, come on. Helps if you actually get the shaft of the screw. No, that cable does not go underneath this. Usually I take pictures as I do stuff so that I can make sure that I can put things back the right way, but when I'm live streaming, I completely forgot to do that. I guess that's my mistake. This should go on a little easier now. probably just routes around it. Looks like it's long enough. Pulled a video card out of a running system. Oh my god. I haven't done that yet. Although I have either unplugged or plugged in what is it? Mouse and keyboard, ADB. And I hear I understand that that's a no-no, that you can mess those up by doing it, but I've gotten lucky and not. Oh, come on. That's what I get for buying this cheap tool junk. I think I bought this set for like 10 bucks or something. I really need to buy, spend the money and get an iFixit kit. Although I will say I have a very understanding daughter, and she lends me her tools even when I break them, because she knows if I break something I'll replace it. In fact, I think we gave her the iFixit kit for Christmas, honestly, while she was at school. Okay, I think that's okay. Garth, I've hot plugged SCSI to attempt to recover data off a drive that caused the system to not boot. It didn't work. Yeah, you don't want to hot plug ADB. That's what I read. I think I got lucky. I should get one too. I need to tighten my MacBook up together. The hinge is a tad loose. Yeah, oh, yeah. If your hinge is loose, I don't know if you've been in that, but usually it's a sign of broken plastic. At least in my experience with the two PowerBooks I've got. Oh, you're talking about a MacBook. Yeah, those tend to break too, don't they? Like the what is it, polycarbonate, or the plastic MacBook. That one, the hinge started to crack along the edge. Light's a little bright. Anyway, with these things, I've got a couple of PowerBooks. This must be the 550. Yeah, or no, my 520. 550. There is no 550. This is a 520C that I picked up. I got it at an auction site. I spent about, I think, $80 for it. And it actually works pretty well. I rebuilt the batteries for it. And the hinge is actually in good shape on this. It's not broken or anything. It was part of a school district's thing. So I took this battery apart and bought some nickel metal hydride cells and rebuilt it. It's a smart card, so it's got a little board in here that handles charging and everything, and those can be bad, but you can see maybe you can see it, the seam where I glued it back together and then shaved off the extra glue, but it actually does work. The connector was so bad and corroded on this one that I had to rebuild it using some copper wires and stuff, soldered it on there, and then filed them flat so that they were the right profile. But it does work. And this is a nice machine. It has two battery slots in it. I have a second battery, but I think because I don't have a spot capacitance welder, so when I put the cells together, I had to actually use my soldering iron, and if you overheat those cells, they lose they let loose their magic smoke, and I had one cell do that, so I had to buy more batteries. That was kind of cool too. Instead of buying individual cells, I found a post somebody had done where they had done a similar thing for a different 500 series machine, and they bought a pack of cells that were sold, you know, plastic wrapped up and everything together, so they're already soldered, for powering, like, you know, those kids' little vehicles. So the nice thing is that the design for this battery, you know, usually they have the cells flipped around, or, you know, they're connected in an odd way, where they put like a thermal fuse in or something like that. So you can't just drop a pack of cells in there. It's got some circuitry in it. The only thing I had to do was clip two of the leads and invert the orientation of the cells for half of them, and then solder in between them to put the fuse in. So minimal amount of soldering to do that, and I got lucky. I was able to do it without destroying the cells. Might have taken some life off of them, I don't know. But that was, I took some video of that, but it took me about 4 hours to do the thing. And I haven't edited it to put it together. And I don't really think anyone wants to watch the raw 4 hours of video. I'll probably speed it up or something and put it up there. The other power book that I have, and I got this one recently, is a 180C. Yeah, 180C. And it's another one where, I got on this discussion because of the plastic hinges. This has got only one screw on this hinge holding it together, and the two on here. I tried to JB weld the pieces together for the mount for the screw, and it looked like it was going to work, but when I tried to tighten it up, it just broke up again. And the thing is the JB weld held. It broke in other areas on that plastic. It's so brittle. So I'm going to have to do either make my own mold, or have someone 3D print. I don't have a 3D printer. Have someone 3D print replacement things for it. I saved all the parts. So I've got, you know, I've got all the bits and pieces for it here, including the now, see, I'm about to lose it. The little tiny round metal bit that the screw goes into. So I could fashion my own plastic, get it in there, glue it in, you know, heat drop that and melt the whatever you call the, is it a ferrule for the screw, and put it in there. But it's, you know, it's, if I'm gentle with it, it'll be okay for now. The nice thing is I've got a blue SCSI in here, so it doesn't have the original drive. Works really nice. I like the 180C because this has got an active matrix display, and the 520 has passive matrix. So when I go camping, and yeah, I go camping with my computer equipment, so that I can work on programs and stuff. I don't have to use an external monitor with this one to be able to see it. Anyway, so back to this thing. Yeah, like I said, it's a little loud, but maybe it's just normal. I'm not going to mess with taking the shield off now. I'll wait until I read up on it first. So, oh yeah, I should put this back on. Otherwise the flow is not going to be right. So that went this way. I really like the design on the inside of these. It's kind of, I don't know if you'd call it sexy looking, but they really did pay almost as much attention on this G5 on the inside as they did on the outside, or on the tower case. I also have a tower G5 that works pretty well, but man, is it huge. In fact, it's under this desk. I bang my shins into it constantly. I kind of like this because it's such a smaller footprint. Okay, so this is interesting. I wonder if somebody's been in this. Is this the same screw? Because these screws are different. That's interesting. That's not snug. It's also not the same screw. Maybe that's where the vibration's coming from. Hang on a second. Maybe somebody else has been in this machine. That is not the right size. What did I do with the... Ah, here it is. Yeah, there we go. I wonder if that's... is contributing to the noise. Oh, so I probably should acknowledge who's watching. So we've got, going back to the top of the stream, we've got Alex's Retro Shack and Garth Beagle and Retro Techie. Garth, you're really in. Alex, you guys chat a lot. Exodium or Zodium Retro House. And I think, is that everybody? Oh, House of Moth. Hey. Cool. I'm glad you guys could join me for this kind of impromptu thing. One of these days I'll actually plan something out a little better, but you know, I just felt like it was noisy and I wanted to poke around and see what was going on with it. So, but this concerns me a bit. This screw doesn't really, I mean, it holds it down, but that seems like it would rattle. I don't know if you can hear that. I gotta catch up on the chat. The metal bits is what you want to keep. Bits and pieces. I guess I'm not really following that conversation all the way. Zodium. I actually do have a welder. I actually made some tabbed. Yeah, I saw a video where somebody, it looked like they had a homemade welder that they were using. Maybe I should look into making one. I don't know how much they cost. Is it fixed yet? It wasn't broken. I'm hoping not to break it. So actually the fans were kind of loud. And I thought maybe it had a bad bearing or something going. I wanted to make sure there wasn't, too many fuzzies in it. But it is a little dirty, but unfortunately I don't have air or anything to clean it out. And the last thing I want to do is use a vacuum cleaner on it because that concerns me a bit. But it doesn't appear to have a lot of dust bunnies. There is some dust on the blades and stuff. Or actually, I'd say it's more crud than dust. Yeah, hypercard programming by the campfire. Yeah, basically. We do glamping. It's not roughing. And we have electricity and air conditioning in the trailer, so I'm too old to do tent camping anymore. Oh yeah, see ya, Garth. Thanks for coming in. Um, but yeah, I do programming. I've done. I also have a. Well, you guys may have seen this before, but I did a retro battle station challenge to do basic programming. I think it was 2 years ago, and I did it on this. It's my TRS-80 Model 102, which is kind of neat. It's got actually a pretty decent keyboard on it for a 1985 machine. But yeah, I do. That's how I relax when I'm camping. Is I grill lots of meat. I make campfire pizzas over a campfire using a big turkey roaster hood over so that you reflect the heat back onto the top of the pizza. Um, and then I do a lot of computing stuff on a picnic bench. Um, I actually even tried solar retrobrighting with a just a piece of the back panel to an SE, where you can put in the expansion because I figured I could sacrifice that. It was no big deal. I had a SCSI 2 SD in there, so I had pulled that out. So I took that and covered it up with tape and then just peeled back tape, each day. And it actually did lighten up. I don't know if it would stay though, and it only went so far. It didn't really, completely lighten it up. After about 30 hours, it didn't make any changes. So, and someone has told me that you actually, by retrobrighting with just UV like that, it makes the plastic even more brittle. So, that was the only experiment I did with that. But I did that while I was camping too. Um, all right. So, do I have everything back together? Yes. Let's see how loud this thing is. Oh. All right, are you going to go on? Here I can show you how I can break more of the tabs. Really? Okay, so it's got to go on a bit of an angle, but it's got to slide down. I know these things are a lot easier than the Intels to get apart and back together, but it's still kind of fiddly. Oh, come on. All right, what am I doing wrong here? Maybe I should just break the rest of the tabs. No, I don't want to do that. Use the vent as leverage to push it into place. There we go. That seemed to have worked. Duct tape. Yeah, I've used that enough. Duct tape is the key to a successful marriage. You know what? I'll tell you this: the key to a successful um, to success in collecting vintage Macs is to have a spouse who collects Hull china. She's probably got 2,000 pieces of china by now. If you look in our living room, there's these shelving units all along one wall, and it used to hold a lot of books. Right now, it's half holding Hull china. So I encourage her to bid on and pick up more pieces of that china, because someday she might actually start dealing it and reselling it. But she doesn't complain when I buy. Oh, I found a Mac. I'm going to get it for $20, because Hull china is so collectible. Those ball vases that you see, they're kind of like the Kool-Aid pitcher kind of a shape. Those things go for anywhere from $30 to $50. So I figure if she can buy a Hull ball vase, I can buy an old Mac. So, and every time she it's a little expensive. I'm like, oh, you should get it. While I'm checking eBay to see what's available. But nah, honestly, we both like to collect the kind of stuff. We both go antiquing. I'm not really into the antiquing that much, but sometimes you come across, you're not going to call them antique computers, but we'll go to vintage sales and that kind of thing. So instead of moving this out of the way, I'll put it here. Let's get the keyboard back. Hey, Jay, since you're on here, I need a decent Mac mouse that goes with this thing. And I know the puck mice don't go with it. But I imagine you probably tell me what kind of because this is what I'm using. An old HP mouse. And obviously, aesthetically, it's ugly. But it works. But I really could use a decent mouse to go with it. And of course, this keyboard's not the right keyboard. It's one of these, but it works. At least it's white. It kind of matches. Maybe it is the right keyboard. I don't know. So I'm going to put the mic next to this thing so you guys can hear it. And let's fire it up. Oh, it needs electromagnetic force. Hang on. Oh yeah, power cord. Not the stock power cord for this thing. It doesn't have the round flange on it or anything, but hey, it works. Pro mouse or no mouse? I've never used the puck mice, but ergonomically, are they actually nice to use, or is it more just an odd mouse that people collect? Or rather, Jay collects and nobody else collects. Pro mouse. They probably cost $300, right? Alright, let's turn this on. I'm going to be quiet for a second so you can hear it. I hear more drive right now. Yeah, that's the fan. I do not like the sound of that at all. It was not that noisy before I opened it. The puck mouse is no worse, no better, huh? It is definitely interesting. So, obviously I didn't put that back together correctly because I think that shield is vibrating now. I'm gonna have to go back in there and poke around with it. Maybe I should open the service manual and take a look. But it wasn't that bad. It was just noisy when I was, playing a game. So it was, pushing the system. Anyway, I guess I'll have to open it back up and fiddle around with it again. So I guess that's about it. I think I'll end the stream here. And then open it back up. Reset the screws. Can you run the Mac with the back cover off? Am I able to, or can it run without the back on? I don't see why it wouldn't run without the back on. Is there any kind of a sensor where it's going to go, sorry, no, I'm not going to start up? Oh, I thought I shut you down. Oh, now it's not making as much noise. Use a piece of insulation foam that you stick around. That type I have that in a machine with a spinny drive, basically. Oh, okay, to absorb some of the vibration. Like maybe put a piece of it on there. Well, I don't want to obstruct the airflow. Anyway, it's actually settled down. Maybe I should try running what I was running. Sorry about the noise from the mouse. I should put it on the mouse pad. Now I got to remember where it was. As I installed it, I'm not sure where it put shortcuts. I assume that the OS 9 applications end up inside here, but maybe not. Well, I could run it from the CD. Ah, well, that's where you ran it from anyway. Drag this over here so you guys can see it. You can't really see it. Drag it over a little more. I could tilt the camera up. Well, that's kind of making a mess out of it. Good enough. All right. Can't see the chat now. Yes, Warcraft, Tides of Darkness. I have played this probably more than any other game that I own. And never with other people. It was always just myself. Yeah. Get the graphics going here so the fans will kick in. Loading sound effects. Yes, you go mine some gold. Okay, fan's not really busy. I'm not really stressing out the thing yet. Hasn't gotten warm. Yes, ready to serve. Oh, where are you? Well, if anything, you guys can watch a little bit of
Okay.
Tides of Darkness. When you get right down to it, it's a pretty boring game, though. There isn't a whole lot going on. But I guess that's the way it is with the simulated stuff. Oh, not enough food. I need more food. Ah, stop it.
Lord, righto.
Yes, I want you to make another farm. Where shall we put it? Let's put it right next to the other farm. Okay, it hasn't really warmed up yet. I can feel a little bit heat out of the back, but it's mostly cool air. So, and no, I don't have any other games loaded yet. That was something I was going to mess around with today. Was like get Marathon on here, things like that, if I can. Download the appropriate Apple Service Diagnostic for that model. Oh, diagnostic software, is that it? Best test you can get. It'll test each fan independently. Oh, okay. Didn't know there was such a thing. So that's good. Thank you, Jay. I'll do that. Maybe I could do it right now. Where do I find it? Would that be at Macintosh Garden? No. End scenario. Exit program. Yes, exit the program. Macintosh Garden? Okay. I am going to use my other computer to go on the internet. What is the exact model of the G5? It's the 1.6 17-inch screen. So it's the very first one with the lowest specs. You probably want the model number though. I don't know if About This Mac will tell you. It's the 1.6 gigahertz Power PC G5. Got the serial number. Don't they tell you what the actual model number is in here? Power Mac 8,1. That's not what I was thinking about. Anyway. Garden doesn't have it right because it's too new. Any ideas where I can find it? First gen iMac G5 17-inch. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So when did they start putting out Apple service stuff for Macs? Software, anyway. Because I don't recall there being anything for the 68K Macs for that. What else could I do to stress it? What else have I got on here? I really don't have much in the way of applications on this thing. I could run HyperCard. That's not going to do anything to it. It's got a chess game. Goes back to the G3. So the Apple Service Diagnostics go back to the G3 up to the 215 Max. Oh, it was in-house. Yeah, they only the Genius Bar would have it, kind of a thing. Have them here if you have a Dropbox or something. 300 meg. Oh yeah, sure. How do I don't have Dropbox. I do have Google Docs, but I can share files with you, but I don't know if I can share a location so you could drop it there. Never tried that. Let me see if there's a way. Yeah, see, I think if I just share a folder, all it's going to do is share the stuff in it. Let me see what I can do. No, I don't want to upload a folder. Yeah, Jay, do you have some place you can throw them up online where I could get them, like Dropbox or Google Share or something? And create a new folder and you could do that. Drop files here. Not shared. Manage access. Share with people and groups. Yeah, stop trying to help me. I'm not talking to you guys. I'm talking to Google. Copy link. Oh, file to the service now. We'll drop a link in on your Discord. Ah, okay, cool. Let me start Discord up. That's something I haven't used very much is Discord. But since I started watching Mac Yak, I've been getting more into it. So it is kind of nice. Oh, so it's a bootable drive. Okay. Cool. Thank you, Jay. I got to get back to here so we can chat. Okay. Yeah, I get it. I'm really looking forward to. I'm taking 2 weeks off to go camping. Well, glamping, if you will. Um, so Michigan's got a lot of state campgrounds, and we have we've been camping around the state for 30 years and still haven't exhausted all the places. So I know other states also have great camping systems, but Michigan's pretty cool with all the Great Lakes. So you can I think you could, if you drive 50 miles, you run into a lake no matter where you're at in the state, which is kind of cool. Some of it's better than others, but we usually camp in the northern part of the. Let me get my map out. So it's backwards. Yeah, do it this way. Whatever. Here's the thumb part of Michigan, so the orientation's wrong. It's supposed to be the other way around. Up here is where the Mackinac Bridge is, and then you've got the Upper Peninsula up here. So there's a state park that's right next to where the Mackinac Bridge is, and there's another one right across. And then farther along Lake Huron, near Rogers City, Alpena is a little farther down here. There's another state park, and with COVID and everything, camping's become very popular because you can still separate from other people and be outside and all that kind of thing. We could not get 2 weeks. There's a 14-day limit to getting a campsite. You have to move to another park if you want to camp. Yep. Pardon me, I got a call. Hey, let me mute. Let me mute here because I'm streaming. No, 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 it's fine. I just don't. I don't think you want to talk about this with everybody else hearing. So, guys, I'll be back in a minute here. Okay, I'm back. My my wife had to deal with a family member medical thing, and she's in the metropolitan area nearby and having to drive through thunderstorms and stuff. Anyway, I was saying, Michigan's a great state for camping and stuff. There's lots of places along the lake shores. There's lots of camping in the interior and stuff, but we've been just trying different areas around, and there's the Wilderness State Park, which is near Mackinac City. That's a really great spot. You can go to Mackinac Island if you're into that kind of thing. I've been there so many times, we haven't gone in years, but and there's a lot of great hiking and stuff if you're into that. I don't hike, but anyway, the other one is Haft. It looks like it's Hoft, but it's actually Haft State Park, and it's one of the oldest state parks in the state of Michigan. And one of the accommodations there is you can actually rent a house, and it's one of the Sears. I think it's Sears. Yeah, no, it's not Sears. What am I trying to think of? The big catalog thing. Yeah, Sears and Roebuck. Anyway, it was back in the 40s, 30s, and 40s. You could order a house, and it was constructed for you out of like materials. It was like the original manufactured home kind of thing, and they actually have one there that you can rent, and it'll sleep like 8 or 10 people or something. It's probably expensive as all get out, but anyway, it's kind of neat. So you can actually, if someone's not in it, you can go in and see it. They've got lighthouses. The Michigan Lake, or rather, all the lake shores in the Great Lakes have more lighthouses than most of the other rest of the country. So there's a lot of great places to go camping. So I'm really looking forward to 2 weeks of just being outside, even if I'm going to spend a lot of that time playing around with computers, because that's what I do to relax. But the fans of the Mac go brrrr. Yeah. So it's not sounding bad right now, but it's really not. It's just barely warmed up. I wonder if maybe I just needed to reseat the fans. So, Rudy, what I'm working on today is I started putting some games on my. Let me tilt it up here so you can see it. I got this iMac 17-inch 1.6 gigahertz computer for $20, and it's working. It's stock. They never expanded the memory or anything on it. And I did a video a few weeks ago. I opened the back up expecting to find blown caps in it, but all the caps look pristine and there's no leaking that I can detect or anything. So I buttoned it. Of course, I broke half of the clips along the top here because I'm an idiot and I didn't look to see how they came out, and they're extremely brittle, so half of them snapped. But anyway, put it back together and just started using it. I've got my HyperCard set up on it now because I'm running Tiger with 9.2, so I'm able to run HyperCard, and eventually I want to be able to I don't know if I can do some screen capture on it or something like that, where I can use it as my for my videos. Anyway, long and short of it is, I started putting some games on it, and I was actually playing Warcraft 2 Tides of Darkness, looking for CDs I happen to have that will work on a Mac. And while it was playing the game, the fans kicked in because it started to warm up, and they sounded a little loud. And I didn't know if I had a bearing going or what, but so I opened it up and took the fans out. They're not really too filthy. They've got some oily cruft on them that I need to clean, but I can't find any of my compressed air or anything like that. So I just put it back together. Um, Somebody recommended that, and I apologize, I can't remember who it was. Somebody said that I think it was Garth, says I really should take the shield off of the processor because a lot of crud gets in there. But I'm going to look at the service manual before I touch it. And I've been breaking things because I'm not reading up on it first, like the clips. If I had read up on it, I would have known the proper way to pull the back off. I hinged it up and snapped them, so that was my fault. Um, anyway, but it seems to be working okay, but it's not really that warm yet. And Jay said I should run the, what did he call it? The Apple Service Diagnostics to, because it'll exercise the fans and stuff. Anyway, so that's basically it. I was really about to stop the stream, and then I got sidetracked by a phone call. You're welcome for the banana phone entertainment. So I need to have a really obnoxious phone ring, or I don't hear it. Too many beeps and boops going on around me as it is. So I would never listen to that music, except for my phone, ring. What else? Oh yeah, and then I started talking about camping because what I do is take the stuff with me when I go camping so that I can play around with it. Yeah, it's a Power PC. It's the last one before the Intel versions came out. Well, there were 3 that were released about the same time. This is the least powerful, lowest spec one. What about SMC fan control? I don't know if it's got fan. I don't even know where to look. I assume that would be under system. No, that's system profiler. Under the system preferences, maybe. I have no idea where to even look. I have to apologize. My Macintosh knowledge is for the modern ones and this is considered modern by me. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to live stream when I'm camping. There just isn't enough. My cell bill would go way up. Maybe I'll do a few shorts while I'm camping. I could do that. Yeah, I've got ASD now. I just need to burn it and get it on here. Maybe that's what I'll do for another live stream. I'll actually come back on later and do that. Kind of cool. But yeah, I like this little machine. It's I've got a G5 tower, and oh my God, it takes up all the space. In fact, it's at my knee right now, underneath my desk, and I keep banging my shins into it. Because I've got very limited space for this stuff, and I'm trying to, if I could get my wife to get rid of half of her Hull china, I'd have some place to put all these things. But yeah, $20. It was a good deal. I had to drive 55 minutes one way to get it, so it really cost me more like 35 once you add the gas in. But still worked out of the box. Did not have a mouse or a keyboard with it, so this is the sacrilegious mouse that I'm using. It's an HP I happen to have laying around. And this actually isn't even my keyboard. This is my daughter's, and she lent it to me. So I still need to source the right keyboard and mouse to go with it. But yeah, it's got some scuffs on it. It's been used. Yeah, that's why we have a mutually assured destruction agreement. I encourage her to buy all the Hull china that she wants, and she doesn't prevent me from getting retro stuff. So she has, last count, she had over 100 Hull china ball vases. So and she's still collecting those. She hasn't got them all. And those run anywhere from, I mean, when she started collecting, they were $15. Now they're like 20 or 30 to $50, depending on it. If you try to boot from that ASD image with the C option, that aluminum keyboard won't work on a G5. Oh. So I can't use the C option to boot? A generic PC keyboard might. Okay, well, I have generic key. I've got this. It's about as generic as you can get. I've got a Dell keyboard laying around somewhere. Yeah, I need to get a proper keyboard for this thing. Did these things also do the soft power on with the keyboard? Or was that earlier only? So, all right. Well, it's quieter now, but like I said, it still hasn't warmed up. You can hear them spin, but not much. Okay, well, I'll give that I'll give the ASD some try or a try and see what happens, and then go from there. So, how long have I been on? Can't see my whole screen, sorry. I've got too many computers in front of me to see the screen. Yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. Didn't plan to get on today, but you know, I thought, what the heck, I'm gonna open it up, I might as well. So I want to thank everybody for showing up and putting up with my shenanigans and the cringe-worthiness of everything that I do. What, did he break more plastic today would be the question. Instead of, is it fixed yet? Has he broken any plastic yet? Will this work with a blue SCSI? No, it's not a SCSI drive computer. It actually has it's an IDE. Or no, SATA. No, it's not a SATA. What is it? I don't know. But it's not a SCSI. Yep. See ya, Jay. Thanks for the advice and the help. I appreciate it. So no, it won't work with a blue SCSI. Which is too bad. I guess there's some varieties of SSDs it'll work with. You know, maybe that's something I'll do later. That would help with the heat, anyway. I don't know. It's kind of a nice machine. All right. I'm going to sign off now. Thanks, everybody, for coming out. And I'll see you on the next video. Bye.